Hello everyone, welcome back to the latest update series of Drishti IAS. This is Divya Kawatra and today we are meeting to discuss regarding Civil Defense Volunteer Force. That's right, a recent announcement has come regarding this. We'll understand what kind of force this is, why are we calling it voluntary, and how is it going to work in civil defense, and who can join this, how do you join this, all these discussions we'll do that. We'll find answers to all these questions in this video. Alright, stay tuned till the end to know all about it, and beginning with the fact like why it is in news. First of all, the fact that PM on Saturday announced plans for a vibrant civil defense network. Okay, he called it vibrant civil defense network. Why? Because he said that there will be a massive modern civil defense volunteer force, and he's calling upon the citizens. He's calling upon the citizens to be prepared to deal with modern security challenges. How so? Announcement comes a little over a year of civil defense volunteers. They were mobilized. Nationwide mock drills were happening during the heightened tensions between Pakistan following the Operation Sindoor. Since then, volunteers have been working and now they are being given a new shape, right? And what is that new shape? We'll find that out. First of all, what is the goal of the proposed volunteer force? Like, why would we require it? Well, full operational guidelines are still pending, but this is like the basic objective that has come from the speech, from the notifications, from the details that have been shared, like what kind of accesses are there and how are we dealing with it. All right. Yeah. So first of all, we'll see that modernized civilian responses come, updating traditional civil defense roles to match modern threats. Why? Because threats are increasing. Everyday spams are increasing. Everyday scams are increasing. All these things are requiring better structure for natural disasters also, industrial accidents, cyber security emergencies also. That's why we require a little bit of modernization of this civil response also. Second thing is emergency preparedness. What is emergency preparedness? If a deployment is there in key support areas where first aid, search and rescue, evacuation management, shelter operations, maintaining essential supply lines during crisis, all this is trained, right? Then comes the unarmed civilian focus. The proposed force that is there will strictly be non-combatant. Please remember this. This force will strictly be non-combatant, means no combat training for them, only basic civilian training for them. You see the activities, these are civilian activities. That is why we are calling it civil defense. Clear? They won't be given any training in combatant. The role is civilian protection, relief, coordination, assisting public services, not taking up the arms. Right? There was a general misconception that now they are teaching our children to pick up arms. If they are asking the young population of India to volunteer for this, are they making them pick up arms? Right? So the comments you must have seen regarding Naxalism also came forward, that after eradicating Naxalism, they are teaching children to pick up arms. They are teaching children to join defense without any examinations and all that. Right? So this has been made very clear that this is non-combatant position. They won't be taking up arms. They will only be assisting in management and administrative services. Right? That will be the only sole role, and there will be no arms training, no combatant training for this. Clear? Yeah. What is the context here? Like, what is happening? India is not starting from scratch. We already have a legal framework that is governed by Civil Defense Act 1968. That allows state governments to appoint volunteers for civil protection, right? It is already there, the measure is already there, the air raid precaution, fire prevention, public safety during hostilities or emergencies, these provisions are already there. The renewed focus STEM part is what? It is real world testing, because now the problems have advanced, right? The problems are modernized, so solution also has to be modernized. Clear? That's why we are doing this. So following the heightened border tensions during Operation Sindoor, 2,800 civil defense volunteers were mobilized in Jammu Kashmir for health, fire, emergency services, essential goods distribution. So now we want nationwide civil defense mock drill across 244 districts that tested air raid sirens, blackout procedures and evacuation readiness. They are actually training them and they're actually testing whether they are ready to do that. For example, if a situation arises, let's say there is a blackout. People are not allowed to step out. You know how a blackout works, right? Everybody shut off their lights. No lights should be running in the house. Nowhere should anyone passing from the above be able to realize like this is a populated area, right? Yeah, in the older times, these blackouts used to happen consistently. Ask the elderlies at home. They will tell you about it, how every light was shut down and how nobody was allowed to step out of the house. Such blackouts occur. But if you're not allowed to step out of the house, and if blackout is extended for a longer period, how do you suppose this might go, right? You would require people to give you home supplies, basic groceries, etc., to help you out with that, right? Volunteers are going to do that. Clear? This is how they're testing it, like whether they are ready for this, whether they are, what is the level of their preparedness, whether they'll be able to handle such a large scale problem. Clear? Yeah. Then how it compares to other organizations, like there are army and everything, we have everything, like why do we need this? So we see the organizations like civil defense volunteers, they are civilian protection and emergency management, non-combatant, volunteer-based, focused on disaster relief, evacuation, vital services, right? National Cadet Corps, youth development and leadership. Here, student-based organization, they are aimed at discipline, character building, and basic military exposure is also there. This is not an emergency force. This is not working for, in the cases of emergency, it is constantly working for basic military exposure and discipline and character building, right? Then we have home guards, auxiliary to local law enforcement. They assist police with internal security, traffic, emergency duties, and receive honorariums or wages for days served, right? Then there is Territorial Army, military reserve force, like civilians with standard careers who undergo military training. They can be mobilized to assist regular armed forces also. So they're going towards armed forces. They are only going for character building and exposure, but not entirely, and they are totally away from the armed forces, non-combatant, and only working for what? Emergency situations, right? Do you understand the basic difference here as into how they are working? Clear? Exactly. Now, apart from the Act, we have other statutory or legal frameworks also regarding this, under which all these functions are working, and that require certain conditions. First of all, Civil Defense Act, we just read about it, enacted post 1962, then post 1965 conflicts also define civil defense as any measure not amounting to actual combat, but taken to protect individual property, places against hostile attacks, right? They're not a part of army as such, but they're a part of protection unit. 2009 amendment came, the changes were that the scope of civil defense was expanded beyond wartime readiness. Why they said that? Since they are non-combatant, they can be used in other services also, like if there is disaster, we can use them in disaster management. So better utility can come from this. So they expanded this to other versions as well. All right. And jurisdiction and nodal ministry, what is the jurisdiction? Ministry of Home Affairs, that is the central nodal ministry headed by Director General of Fire Services, Civil Defense and Home Guards, right? State implementation, if we talk about it, is raised at the state and UT level under district magistrate collectors acting as controllers of civil defense. So basically, they're working under them, yes, they're working with them, yes, for disaster management and all these services. Sorry. Clear? So this is how they are working regarding this, and the acts and statutory backing that they have gotten for this, so that they can run through a proper procedure and not like randomly, join it. Clear? Exactly. Next thing that we need to discuss is how to become a volunteer then, right? How to become a volunteer, how do you do that? Sorry. Who can become a volunteer? Because a lot of details have not been released yet. So this is like, you understand, the eligibility is basic Indian citizen. Age limit is 18 years. Okay. Citizen of India. Age limit 18 years. Minimum education passed at least 4th or 8th standard. They can join. Right? At least 4th or 8th standard, that's it. Fitness, they must be physically fit and mentally alert, simple. Yeah. Disqualification, if they join army, they'll be disqualified from here. Right? They have to have Aadhaar card, PAN card, passport or voter ID, some identity card, address proof and all that. So we have My Bharat portal. My Bharat portal. If you want to be a part of this, what you have to do is go to this portal, start your registration form. Okay, there you will find the registration for volunteers. You start your registration form and fill all the required details and documentations that are required there on the portal, or you can go to the state e-district portal also. State-wise portals also support this, right? Then submit self-attested copies of documents and everything will be tested whether it is correct or not, and after the verification of all the documentation sorry, you will present for basic physical fitness check also. Interview will be conducted by District Controller of Civil Defence. Okay. A physical fitness test will be there by the District Controller of Civil Defence. They will take the test and they will give you a mandatory training for first aid, basic casualty handling, CPR, because you are working in an emergency situation. If you are going to work in an emergency situation, you need to know how to handle the emergency, right? You need to be able to give first aid. Like, let's say this is an area where flooding has happened. You are going to save people, and if somebody is hurt, if you cannot do the first aid, what use is it that you go and find them, right? You went, you found a person, you pulled them out of the water and you made them sit, but now they are hurt and you don't know how to do first aid and the person still dies, right? So was there any use of you going and actually pulling them out? No. First aid, CPR, all these basic things, basic medical structures, basic training is given. Specialized advanced training is also given at the National Civil Defence College. National Civil Defence College, do you know about it? Where is it located? Tell me in the comment section, where is National Civil Defence College located? Okay. Tell me the name of the place, and they are taken for cadres also. Firefighting, search and rescue, emergency communications, how do you do that? All these basic trainings are provided, and then finally you are let out on the field. You become a part of this volunteer force, right? Then comes the final enrollment call up and they come. This is voluntary, so obviously it is not salaried. I think that is very clear, but still let me specify this. This is obviously non-salaried because this is voluntary. You are only doing it for the goodness of society, for working for the society and its benefit, right? Honorarium is given, explicitly called for training, practice drills, active duty, etc. Volunteers get daily honorarium or allowance per the state norms, right? They can be given allowances per the state norms, but as such there is no salary. Okay. Yeah. What will be the tenure? For how long can you get appointed? Initially you will be appointed for only 3 years. After that you can extend it and maybe the policies will change it. But for now nothing is set in stone because the exact details are not here. This is the basic procedure. However, the basic facts like 3 years, this can change, right? The salary, that can change, allowance, that can change. So a lot of changes can happen. Proper state guidelines are not there yet, but for now this is the situation. All right, that is our structure. Clear? All right, let's solve a question based on this then. Read the question, give us your answer in the comment section. Done? All right, if you want to join us for more such daily current affairs discussions, you can join us in the session at 8:30 a.m. every day, Monday to Saturday, live for the Hindu, PIB and practice question discussions. All right, that happens on Drishti IAS English channel. You can subscribe to the channel and join the class every day. All right, that was our session for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.